2, 1.
Let's get into Kanye's apology on the Man to Man podcast.
Yes, sir. Again, that's how I feel every time I see one of my brothers apologizing to all of these institutions that was designed to hold us back. I'll be like, again, not my dog, not my dog. How you feeling? Like, I'm so tired of it. I didn't even read his apology. I ain't gonna even lie to you.
Well, it was in Jewish, so it was in Hebrew.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: I knew it was going to come. Inside sources had already told me that he was going to apologize, so it wasn't surprising. And I think Kanye.
Wait, 1 second. When you say these inside sources, like Illuminati?
Nah.
Nah, just talking shit. Come on, let's
Illuminati.
Illuminati.
Illuminati, like a 12 gauge shotty to your body, right?
Yeah.
No, in real life. You know what I mean? I was already told that he was going to apologize. So, in my song I say on the freestyle I dropped, it say, I'd rather die than apologize like Socrates. All of these game that I'm kicking, I should wear Socrates. You know what I'm saying? And that first line opening means a lot. Because I've always been a non-apologist.
Yeah.
Apologies are part of this ritual that we have in this current world, right? To hang a man. And Socrates was a philosopher. And he would go around having these conversations, sometimes debates with people.
Yeah.
And he would stand on what he believed was truth. And he would make people feel stupid for their beliefs, their ideologies, people who thought that they were experts. And he would have conversations with them, and by the end of it, they would be questioning themselves, questioning whether what they said was true or not, because they were known in their specific crafts and their circles to be who they thought they were, right? And by the time he done talking to you, he would use, of course, master linguistic manipulation in the way that he would converse with people, but they would say he was corrupting the minds of the youth.
Yeah.
Right? And so they brought him, of course, to court, and they wanted him to apologize and essentially rescind the things that he said. Yeah, and he refused to apologize.
So he was like a radical character.
He was definitely radical. He refused to apologize on the threat of death.
Yeah.
Right? Socrates was every bit of radical and a revolutionary, if you will, and a intellectual. And he decided to say that, no, I would rather die on my word, you know what I'm saying, than lie because of the sword. And he stood on that, and he was executed on his word. And I feel that, you know what I mean? I feel like I'd rather die than apologize like Socrates. You feel me? Because the truth is something that you got to stand on if it's the truth. Otherwise, the whole thing is, if it's not the truth, then you have to then correct whatever the lies that you said. Right? Because the apology does not matter if what you said and it's not real, if you're not correcting a lie. Right. You can't apologize for truth.
Yeah.
Right? It's defendable. Right? Because what are you accepting the apology for? I would rather him go down a list of things that said, hey, listen, I said this and it was incorrect. I said this and it was incorrect. I said this and it was incorrect. Like, get more specific. Yeah, it was inaccurate and I was wrong for what I said because it's not truth.
And this is what I was getting to. With him apologizing, right? Don't it basically like prove his point of him even mentioning that shit in the first place?
Well, I mean, but we already knew that though.
Yeah.
So for you to fall victim of the thing that you're fighting doesn't give you any points.
Yeah.
It goes to the OJ tale. It's like everybody was saying he has a checker move. Kanye West is building a city, and I believe that right now, what he wants to do is more important than the fight that he was standing up for. That's what I believe his current rationale is. And I believe that that's the current feeling that his team gets as well, that they can't actually help him unless they can help him. You got people, he got an album that's about to be dropped, and we know that Kanye always does these things around his album releases or whatever time he pushing something. So, if anything, this cycle is a little predictable, right? I believe that Kanye needs insight from people. I heard Tariq Nasheed say that he needs Dame Dash around. I believe that you need some solid frontline generals that can give you advice that is not consistent with your own thinking, that can counter some of your outburst thinking and give you some rationale, tactile ways to move. Kanye has the ability to be a very, very, very powerful man if he wants it. But I don't think that, just from the outside looking in, and I agree with Tyreek, I want him to be successful, but this is not the mark of a strategic man. It's not the mark of somebody moving strategic. If you're going to step out there and be radical and be revolutionary, I'd rather you be strategic and have it thought out.
Yeah, I was just going to say with Kanye and a lot of his antics, I don't feel like he be having like the end goal. I think in his mind he got a vision of what he wanted to look like, but as far as like strategically having a roadmap to get there, I think he just make it up as he go along day by day.
Yeah, well, I think that's the mark of a creator sometimes. Move things around, and then as you take a look at what you moved around and be like, and then you find like a pattern in the chaos. And then that becomes your mark of originality that you want to move with. But that's not how it works in war. You know what I'm saying? In war, you have
sometimes
to think
that'll create
different.
a whole new problem that you ain't got time to focus on.
Yeah, wartime, you can have your creative, but that creative has to be aligned with the general's thinking, a master thinking, right? If you go back to Hannibal Barca, he invented a lot of creative, strategic things to enact in wartime that made it original. It wasn't the obvious thing that the enemies would do. He would do the art of surprise. He would go through different villages and he would recruit the people as he met them. He would get information and provisions and supplies from those people as he was traveling, right, to replenish his soldiers, because the army dies when it can't eat.
Right.
So I think that your creativity has to be rational in a certain sense, and these things is hard. But as a general, you have to be able to have levels of taking a step back and thinking about how many moves you want to be ahead, and then creating a campaign based on what's your ultimate goal. And so if you don't have an ultimate goal, you can't create a campaign, because now your moves are not aligning to some big ultimate theme, right? So either you could be so far ahead of everyone that nobody sees it because it's way bigger and you've calculated all of this, right? That would be the assumption of someone that would be like, no, this is still part of. You would have to say everything so far has to be calculated. Like if you look at an AI and the AI be like, okay, this is going to happen, then this, and this is the cause and effect. And then you draw all the way out 1,000 steps ahead of everybody and be like, yo, I wanted everything to get to here. But I don't believe that that's exactly what's happening, not whatsoever. That's the cleverness you can make people feel about you, right? When you do things so confident that you can't tell whether a person is, doing things intentionally or they're messing up.
Now, that just reminded me of something I seen on the Gilly and Wallow show, right? They was telling NBA YoungBoy, like he needs somebody on his team.
Yeah.
They could tell him like, nah, this gonna fuck up everything you got going. Stop what you doing. Nah, this ain't the move. Come this way, do that. And YoungBoy was like, man, he real life doing everything by himself, but he wish he did have somebody like that on his team. How can you explain to the people how important it is, like, to have people on your team who got the same vision, or even find the people who got the same vision and believe in and know their key role?
Well, you got to know yourself very well, and you got to be comfortable within yourself. I think there's a fear that happens when a lot of people are used to building things up themselves, and it's a trust factor that goes into it. NBA YoungBoy could reach out to anybody, and they would most likely answer. He has to have a level of self-awareness, trust himself, right, to know how to pick the right people, right, and also insulate and set up his structure in a way where you operate and you deal with people for the worth and value, and you create an exchange. What can happen a lot of times is you can get too emotional about connections, and you can take things personal. Instead, you being able to have a real reality check with people and be like, listen, this is what I'm in it for, this is what you in it for. Right? Now, if the bond becomes thick like brothers over time, right, because it's constantly being tested and that's the experience, then you can start, allowing more leeway to deal with people in that capacity. But oftentimes, what happens is people then got their consiglieires. They don't have somebody that can give them insight and see things in different ways, right? You gotta have that person on your team at all times, because I think it was a brother we was talking to. I forget bro name at the moment. I gotta pull it out the phone, but he was saying, all great men have their gangsters. You know what I'm saying? They got their person that's to the street, somebody that can see things in different ways. You gotta have that. You don't need to be the most gangster person in your crew. You know what I'm saying? Your right hand man gotta be that. You gotta be the thinker. You know what I'm saying? If you out there doing everything and you think in a crazy way, no, you gotta be the rational thinker. Or have somebody. It has to be a balanced system instantly there to where you can filter your thoughts. Like, bro, am I tripping right now? You feel me? Like,
and that person always can't be afraid to just be honest and be real. Like, honesty play a big part in a team.
Which means that the people you might not want around, and this is the thing that kind of goes back with the girl. Like, the very people that you don't want around are the very people you may need. You don't want them around because they're going to tell you the truth. And you may not want that difference in opinion. You can get to a certain point in time where you always think you're right. Right? Because you become so successful at doing things your way, but you got to realize that every level requires new thinking, right? And as you go into new levels, you need new thinkers around you. If the people around you aren't developing in their thinking, then you have to find new thinkers. That's the brain trust. Companies do it all the time. They hire consultants. They hire outside people to look at things in a way that those amongst the organization are not looking at, right? So it's like
they always scaling at the end of the day. It's always about scaling.
Right. When you get to that point, you an operation. Like you said, you scaling. So it's like, what's required to scale? What got us here is not the same. The thinking that got us here is not the thinking that's going to get us here, right? And that's not the thinking that's going to get us here, right? And then so you have to think of, okay, who are the people I need here? Who are the people I need here? And that can go to all different type of things. You can be on the come up and there's a certain type of woman you need on the come up, right? But when you get here after you successful, right? That person can be like, well, I helped you. Now I just want to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But you can still be ambitious and be like, nah, but I want to get us here. So you need that woman, you know what I mean, to become a different type of woman then, right? She's going to have to help you in different ways. She might have to be more involved, or you might have to get a different type of team. So to think about all those things, that's what separates the great men and women and entrepreneurs, right, from the others.
So what I'm getting from that, what separated is, simply put, is they always thinking. They always think, they always strategizing at the end of the day. When you sit down and you got time to reflect, you got to keep strategizing and come up with new plans.
You only as good as your strategist. You only as good as your strategy. So that's why the people around you become them. If you look around a person that's famous, go look at the people around them. It'll tell you exactly where they're getting their thoughts from, their ideas. You know what I'm saying? The people that they filter. People get harsh criticism to Yachty for being around Drake because some people say they don't like the Drake that's around Yachty, which I think is an unfair criticism. You know what I mean? Because I think I think that Yachty gives him the perspective that he wants. And he gives them the connection to the youth to do things in ways that he wouldn't do them, right? So the reason that he is able to draw from the creative inspiration from Yachty is for a particular reason, because Yachty will be aligned with this generation, Generation Z, right? Alpha generation. So he says that, I don't want to do things like me. I want to do things like you, right? So I need the sounds that you would think of, the way that you may say things. So therefore, the very reason that I might alienate one aspect of my audience, right, is the very reason I'm going to be successful with the new audience that I'm drawing in and maintain that magic. So you have to think about what do you want and who do you need to draw from, right? That's a very key thing. Go look at generals and look at who their second-hand man is in war.
Let me check this out. All right, so what if your team, right, they give you some advice how can you catch yourself before this shit spiral out of control? Like, let's say if we gave you some advice and it end up being the wrong move. How can we catch it to avoid all the backlash before this shit like actually take off? You know.
I mean, sometimes you don't. It's
Sometimes
not
you just
about
gotta go
catching
through it.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta go through it. You know, it's you gotta let the pieces fall where they may, pick up and move. The goal is to not be in this frantic chaos as you're going through it. I think that's the real magic and that's the real key to it. In the show Billions, and I want you to watch the show. There's a character in the show, and she is the one when Wendy, her name is Wendy. She's like a master psychologist.
Yeah.
Right? People be having their moments where they tripping. It might be family. It might be emergency. They might be doubting themselves. You got to remember, you are like, when you are great, I should say that, whether you're a millionaire, a billionaire, a ruler, general, king, a CEO, a father, right? When you do something great, those set of skills and characteristics and traits that you have is what's needed for this ship to continue, right? It's like a basketball player who's usually putting up 40 a night, but then he has a bad night because something on their mind. She's the person that comes in, right? Audits you and puts you back together. Right? Because you can become frantic, you can be tripping and be like, this not even me. You need to be at your best and constantly performing. So she would go in and make sure that the floor, the trading floor, people that's on and inside the business, because the organization's health is as good as the health of its workers.
Yeah.
Right? If you got two people in your business and those two people are fighting, then your business is fighting itself. So you're not going to see that business thrive. Right? So she would then come in and be like, all right, what are you dealing with? Let me get to the root of it real quick, fix you so this doesn't linger, and you can go back out there to performing at your optimum best, right? So she would do that for the generals. So if I'm tripping one day, be like, all right, listen, I don't want you to linger over this for the next 5 days, and maybe you get worse. So I'm going to sit down with you, give you the game, and she'll give you them quick psychological fixes to let you know where this is coming from. And zap you and put you right back in there, and now you're ready for the field again. And it's like everybody needs them a Wendy.
So speaking of that Wendy that everybody needs, her good characteristic trait is she is a great observer, right?
For sure.
So she ain't just around for the glam and the glitz and all of that shit for the team. She actually see what's going on. She watching everything. So when the problems occur, she able to provide that advice, you know?
Yeah, and you gotta care. Because there's a thing where there's a careful thing where she didn't really fix people to heal them. She fixed people for them to get back out there and perform, right? Because she might have recognized that if I heal you, I may kill your ambition connected to your trauma, right? So her job wasn't to heal you. Her job wasn't to be your ayahuasca to where you no longer want to do the thing. Her job was to be like, listen, you're good at what you do when you're in this particular state. So let me remove distractions.
Bless you, bless you.
Ooh, thank you. I'm in rare form tonight. I'm feeling good. I think I'm gonna put up 50 tonight, maybe 80.
A good 50, good 80 tonight.
Yeah.
I love one.
Shout out to my bro Jalen Brown, man. I was supposed to connect with him while he was out here, man. He said Brian, man, hurt his back, man. Brian out there wilding with the youngsters.
Yeah, so that's a few things that I had wanted to discuss tonight. But since we already talking about our black brothers in the in the industry or whatnot, we can keep this conversation flowing real quick. I wanted to talk about how we in our community we choose self-destructive behaviors rather than self-care.
Yeah.
And that can manifest from different forms, influenced by a range of factors. It don't simply make it seem like you weak or, show a lack in your character or, but it often stems from deeper emotional and psychological issues.
Yeah.
So I want to get into that, man. Do you got a story or something that you can tell the people that might relate to that?
Emotional issues stem from a deep trauma?
Yeah, I'm like, have you ever chose your self-destructive behavior over the the good healthy habits?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Many of times in life, a lot of times. You know, you remember we used to go out, man, and we used to fight a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I used to make an excuse for why I used to fight so much. You know what I'm saying? We used to go out and we'd drink. Choice of drink was with Hennessy, Maker's whiskey, you know, and every time we went out, now that was younger. You know what I'm saying? But every time we went out, me and the bros used to get into it all of the time. You feel me? And I never knew sometimes where my anger came from. You feel me? And being able to go through that process of being like, all right, how are you constantly getting yourself in these situations, even though you say you didn't start it, but what you don't have is any conflict resolution skills, and you're not the one that's trying to push it down. You actually are a magnet for this for a reason, right? And so it may be you inviting other people to start things with you on purpose, so you kind of like trapping them. You feel me? And so I had to kind of like take a look at myself, like either it's the environment that I keep putting myself in, you know what I mean? But why? Why do I want to go and whoop somebody up one time? And what's that going to make me feel about myself? Because I whooped somebody and then I went home to the crib and I got a win under my belt, right? And so when you don't have a lot of things, you look for wins everywhere you can get them. You know what I mean? You always look for what you're good at. The streets, people don't want to give up things because they know that they're good at the thing they're doing. It could be hustling. You know what I mean? And they're afraid of becoming good at something else, or they're not good at anything else. So they'll rather not give up that thing that's giving them identity. You feel me? And so some people go to the club and be socialites. Everybody knows me at the club, but your family might not like you. Your son might not like you. Your friends might not really fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? So, but they stay doing that thing that makes them feel love. It's like social media. You feel me? And when you start to do inventory of yourself and you start to go within the shadows of who you are, you start to try to look back and observe yourself. And you saying that, listen, you allow yourself to be in it, right? And you allow yourself to see through these eyes, right? Instead of see through that third eye to where you can really see the things you're doing. And once I started to take a step back in myself, I realized that, you know, I was replacing the lack of actually accomplishing anything in real life, you know what I'm saying, with the social life that I had. You feel me? And I know what my own potential was. My potential of being able to be a great speaker, being able to be a great entrepreneur, being able to be a great thinker, right? Being able to go out in the world and employ myself and become great and make money and do all these things that I want to do, live up to my own potential. Right. So once I started to actually get real wins, things that I was able to pull out my mind, those self-destructive behaviors started to naturally fall off because I wasn't inclined to find any joy in those things because that was a farce. So now I was able to find joy in, you know, pulling things out of my mind and bringing things into fruition.
You said some key to me just now. You say you used to fight a lot. And used to even get friends involved, not knowing like it was a trap. Like getting into I remember I used to be with you all the time. I used to be tired. Like I just know I'm finna fight. I go outside with keys today for sure. But we got to fight though, so it is what it is.
Well, that's how you learn how to fight.
I brought this up just it just reminded me. I got my book right, and in the first chapter I started off with friendships and. I actually proposed the question. I know you know that saying. It say, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you who you are." And back when I was like a wild kid, like running the streets and whatnot, I never used to analyze that, what type of friends I had or whatnot. These was all my friends because of the things that I was interested in at the time, you know. So now that I step away from all of that and I look back, I realized how much bullshit that I was interested in that I thought was living. The streets, the clubs, the girls, the drinking, the all of the bullshit, basically. Nothing that's gonna help me reach my zenith, you know, my highest level, you know. But I had a whole bunch of friends who would come around and make it feel good for me to continue that lifestyle. Fast forward to now, me being away from it and going back and even seeing some of those friends or seeing them on social media, they still interested in those things. But so how do you? What keeps you disconnected from it?
I mean, it's not in my environment. Well, I might ask you to say nothing. I think I'm at this point in life, man. I have visions. You know what I mean? And those things that don't align with vision. I said it last time yesterday. Like, you got to think about. You can watch things that make you richer, and you can watch things that make you poor. You can listen to things that make you smarter. You can listen to things that absorb your time and make you dumber. You can hang out with people, right, that can make you richer or smarter, or they can make you poorer and dumber, right? They can literally be killing your brain cells and the activities you be doing. None of those things, and I'm nowhere near, from perfection, but I don't be outside dealing with the bull. You know what I mean? I'd rather be inside, dealing with myself at this point in life, because I already tested the streets. You know what I'm saying? I already tasted what's out there, and it ain't my palate. My taste level has changed, right? And when your taste level has changed, you don't go back to eat McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it no more. It can't do nothing for me, right? At a certain point in time, it could fulfill me when I was used to garbage. I'm not used to garbage anymore. I'm not used to garbage people. I'm not used to being around garbage mindsets, right? So for me to do that now, it'll feel like poisoning myself. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like I'm disconnected from it because I'm connected to something of a higher source at this point, right? And at the same time, I still love the streets. You know what I'm saying? And I mean that in the sense like the energy that comes from them, that raw, unmined like
minerals
of the streets.
You don't never want to it'll kill your ambition to be too far removed from it, or you gotta forget the vision.
Yeah, I mean, a lion is always a lion. Yeah, you know what I mean. But now that lion can go to restaurants. You know what I'm saying? Now that lion, goddamn, he don't have to always. He has ability to spend less energy and get more. Right? That's the aggregate efficiency. You spend so much energy in the hunt, now that can be used for the mind. It was a study that said most people don't believe that working hard is the way to become successful anymore, right? It's almost like saying that being an animal is no longer the way, right? We talked about it before with Dr. B. Serious. It's like being an insect is the way, right? Insects are way more intelligent in that the way that they operate within design of nature. They have all of these great capabilities and things that they can do and how they operate. The bee is mathematical, right? The ant is mathematical, right? There's all sort of insects throughout the jungle. The spider is mathematical and meticulous in a way that it builds its web. There's a spider that can shoot up a negatively charged web, right, in a positively charged environment to where it will shoot it into the atmosphere so that it can pollinate the whole entire earth. Like, this is the science that we have within nature. And so when you're operating in different aspects of your nature, you just start to naturally elevate. You feel me? And it's like, yeah, you gonna always come from the jungle, but that don't mean that you always act like it. You feel me? It's different. So it's like, do you want to be Tarzan, you know what I mean? Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
You feel me? Or do you want to be the God? It's up to you, to where you have control over all things, including self, which includes that man has the ability to go from, a cave-like existence. And even though we didn't come from caves, but a cave-like existence, being numb, blind, deaf, and dumb, to being a conqueror on top of the world, utilizing science, geometry, language, economics, right? And the ability to control literally the weather. You feel me? Like, where does the advancement? Because the last thing I say on that is simple. When our culture is no longer reflective of the bottom and it starts to become reflective of the top, right? Then we start to have a change. But we don't see our culture reflective of the top. We see our culture reflected of the bottom. So it's not an aspirational culture to where it says that, all right, coming from the streets, this is what I evolved into. Where does the evolve into?
That's a good question, man. What does it evolve into?
If it doesn't have evolution, then the thing that you're participating in is limiting you and your potential. Right? Evolution is the potential of all things to evolve, to grow, to change. But to evolve for what? Right? You can start to speak a certain way, think a certain way, right? Operate a certain way. The question is, what is the evolution of that? That requires you to utilize your imagination and your mind in a way to where you're constantly putting yourself in new dimensions and new levels and saying, I'm going to develop into the new God self, right? So you have to operate at all times looking to scale yourself into the new God self. This current version,
and that shit comes with a lot of discipline.
What's the next
you
one?
know. Yeah, so I know
Being a disciple of your future self.
Everybody got their self doubts or whatnot. How you block that shit out? Cause I know it's hard on this journey, man, trying to elevate the minds across the world, and you still see how people falling into them same patterns.
Well, that's why I put on there controlling, right? It's a con. Control is a con. There's no real such thing as control, really. You have to, and trolling is another con, right? Like I might put on a live video pro-Israel. Now, you know damn well I'm not really pro, but I put that why? Because I know the eyes are going to come here. What is Keys doing? Why is he doing this? Why is he saying this? Instagram is a preview, right? If you are still at this point in time where Instagram can make you emotional, you're not your higher self. You may think you're this classical spiritual being. If you're arguing in the comments, you're not. You know what I'm saying? As great as you think you are, if social media still triggers you, you're still a lower being, right? You have to be able to rise above that. So if a person can post something specifically for the point of getting your mind to funnel in, thank you, you wrote 5 words, that comment is going to help turn this into a conversation, help increase the algorithm action so that I can grow. I just caught you into the most infantile trap ever because it's a trap that you already know exists. Right? How do you constantly get caught up in a trap that you know is a trap? Yeah. So I'm looking for higher thinkers. A lot of higher thinkers, I see stuff all the time where my brain has a filter. I'll be about to comment something and then my brain like, stop that. What you doing? Nah, that's a trap. Like, chill. Like, keep it going. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to respond. What is this going to do? I'm over here typing this Super Warrior keyboard message, and I'm like,
ooh, I'm about the keyboard.
No. Yeah. And then I'm like, right, ain't nobody care. Keep it moving. We think that our opinions are revolutionary in the world. They can be if you're going against propaganda, right? That's when you're adding into the influx of information to counter the narrative of those who are trying to push an agenda because you have yours. But they're just always throwing your messages out there, feeling like somebody cares. All you're doing is making someone richer and more famous. You know what I mean? The spider puts out the web to catch the prey on purpose. You know what I mean? And sometimes that spider catches really big prey, right? And you can think you big as you want to, but once you on that web and you get caught into the web of things, you just another sucker.
He's just another sucker, yeah. Hey, yeah, so let me shift the conversation real quick, man. There's some things that's been going on that the people should know, right? So I seen something about a study says that let me go to make sure. I want to get y'all the correct answer. The correct information real quick. 1 second. Discord.
Half of what? Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and send this out to a family or friend. Send this out to 5 people and press done.
All right, so
you never know who life you change.
It say half of the U.S. companies is expected to drop bachelor degrees from job requirements in 2024. So now this the question that's going to shake a lot of people up, right? Because a lot of people have been spending crazy money going to college getting these degrees. Some people even graduate in 2024 finna just get their bachelor degree, and now the job saying we don't even care about that shit no more. What's your thoughts on that? Because me personally, right, it's the time for y'all to just learn y'all own skill sets, take that and figure out how to generate an income for your family.
Age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
You said that song yet?
No, I still ain't listened to it. I ain't like how you sung it, so I wasn't interested in going to check it out. I ain't gonna even lie.
You ain't caught up. But listen, I've been saying this. Private education is the new Harvard. Self-education is the new Harvard. I've said this. There is a statistical lowering in the number of people that's enrolling into these Ivy League schools. They don't care about them. right? These BS degrees, which is the perfect acronym for them, they BS degrees. The companies don't care about them because people have, here's the thing where education got messed up as well. People would coast through school because they knew the cheat code was to get a degree, but they weren't good at anything. Yeah. They had a bunch of things memorized, but they had no skills. Yeah. When it came to practical application, when it came to learning new things, when it came to creative thinking, right? I talk about this in my book. You got one of my books? How come we ain't got no books up here? We ain't got no gold water. Today is Kwanzaa, 50% off sale, no code needed. Y'all can go to crowns19.com, get the suits and everything, get the gear. Make sure y'all get y'all some. But in my book, I want to read this passage in my book that's going to answer you. I talk about this. I talk about creative capacity, abstract thinking, and creative thinking. And right now, we're in the age of creative thinkers. That's where the applied value is. There's an AI tool called Taja, right? And I'm going to drop the link in my subscriber channel, and I'll drop it in the description channel as well so you all can get a percentage off this. But this one is really good. Thank you, sir. Boom. So the Taja, so let's say you hire somebody because they have a degree in graphic design. Or they have a degree in, I don't know anything. But a new AI tool comes out that completely makes that degree irrelevant, right? To where it's like, okay, if you didn't have that degree, that employer didn't have access to that skill, right? Meaning that you know how to utilize Photoshop. So you can, if they ask you to create a particular type of infograph or create some sort of poster or whatever it may be, you can create it because you have the skills on how to operate that particular program. Yeah. Now you type it in ChatGPT and then if you can correctly figure out the prompt and then you get that done. Yeah. What skills do you need besides creative thinking? Now, a person that is a designer, if they know all of the ways to type it in a certain way, right, to where it can get the results, then they're still useful. But that's creativity. That's not technical thinking. Technical thinkers have to be told what to do. Creative thinkers can abstract from a process and figure out their own way to do things. Yeah. So the BS degrees are not worth anything because by the time you went to college, 4 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the world has changed. Yeah. Go look at every institution. You can go look at every institution and there's a flashback if you can do from when it looked like in the 1900s.
It reminded me of back in the day when we was growing up. It used to almost be like a stigma for people that go and take a trade. Yeah. Shit, now that's kind of like the smartest thing to do now. Shit, just take up a trade or something specifically you want to do.
Well, yeah, because it's value.
And you'll save way more money than spending it on college because Joe Biden is not eliminating those student loans.
So look at that. Do you think a science lab in the 1800s look the same as a science lab in 2023? Hell no. Do you think even a kitchen or in a restaurant looks the same as it looks like in 2023? Do you think houses look the same? Do you think any institution in the world that you can think of, banks, they kind of look the same. They haven't done too much upgrading in the system of banking, but you got ATMs, you got all sort of new processes now. When you go to schools, the schools look almost exactly the same in the 1900s as they do in 2023. Yeah. Right? So everything else has changed but the system of education. Everything else has changed but the learning institutions. And these were made by men who knew nothing of the world that we live in today. They knew nothing of the tools, the technologies. They knew nothing of the new ways of actually teaching children. There was a study that showed that young boys learn better in environments when they get 3 or 4 recesses per day. So when you send young boys to boarding schools and it's an all-boys school, they're going to have a different dynamic environment because you're not going to keep little boys sitting there just learning all day, that you have to give them a break, right? So what you're doing is you're designing that based on the nature, right, of the genders that you're dealing with, right? So this is why even when I grew up, we had classes divided of genders, girls in one class, boys in one class. So now you can create an environment where the girls can have an environment that's designed for females.
I went to a boys' school in middle school.
Yeah.
It was a college preparatory school. I'm glad I actually went there. I used to hate it when I was going because it was all men, wasn't no girl. But Man, that school taught me so much, man, that I can apply to life now. Like, it's real. Sometimes, like, you need to get rid of all those distractions.
No, not in middle school.
But
You was
yeah,
too old to be.
It was like I had one student of the year, and it was like this particular school had came, did they round around. They had a good educational system, and whatnot, which is where I went.
You said you had your first girlfriend at 21.
What? Where you get that at?
Man, you know in the hood, you ain't never had no girl.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
But I never knew that's why. I get it now. No, like I ain't all jokes aside.
Nah.
I ain't trying to be fun. Like, but all jokes aside.
It's about all jokes aside.
I never knew why you was shy when it came to talking to females. When we used to bring them around on the block and you used to be like,
oh, me?
Yeah.
I'm the guy that pull out the phone and get on the phone?
Yeah. And you'd be like, man, I'm cool.
Stop it.
You know what I'm saying? We used to send you in the house to go get brownies.
See, now he capped. See, this
saying?
They know. Like, me personally,
bro,
I had all the girls back then.
For
sure. He know. Then I got all sisters, so they got all 100 friends.
I mean, but yeah, that was the only time you was around. You feel me? Because your sisters had them over.
He gonna have y'all believe in this.
I used to think, I'm like, oh, Steve got a baddie over. That's Shayla friend. I thought I'm like, he finally, you feel me? Nah, but it's respectable though. I feel like people be losing their virginity and getting girlfriends too early. I'm glad you waited till you mature.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie though. I feel like 21 though is like, that's too long. Like, I don't even want to promote that. Let me leave that.
No, it's not, man. Because you waited, then they can wait. I'm just saying. Let's get into the next topic. So look, in the book, Technical Thinking versus Abstract Thinking. Technical thinking is following rules. It is doing things as they are. Like an artist who's told to draw a picture and draws it perfect to the detail. Hold on, let me get this through. This requires no creativity. It's just doing things as they are. The creative childlike mind sees things as they are and questions what they could be. Always asking questions instead of accepting a just because. If Leonardo da Vinci and Basquiat were to draw the same picture, it will come out completely different. Leonardo will give you the exact picture with no emotion. Basquiat would draw the picture with more emotion, which is what we consider abstract. The more emotional or feeling, the farther from the technical route, aka more original. Basquiat picture could still give you the feel of the original picture, just conveyed from a different emotional range. Leonardo will give you his technique, doing it the technical way. So if you think of the modern cell phone, technically it was made for talking, browsing, and internet texting, but Steve Jobs designed the Apple product so we have an emotional connection. It was all sorts of apps and things that allows you to incorporate stuff in your life. So even getting into this is saying that you can, when Instagram first came out, it was picture based. But some people said, you know what? I'm going to buy all of the Instagram social media handles of like Apple and Red because they thought about another way to make money. They didn't listen to what was they're technically supposed to do. Right? They abstracted a whole new way. They had a different feeling about it and they acted off that feeling. Right? So what today's thinkers have to do is become abstract thinkers. When you're told what to do, you don't know how to think for self. Right? So it's like, as I was explaining with Taja.ai, I didn't get to finish talking about it. It's an AI that we use. You can go in there after we done with this, and I'm going to teach y'all something about social media. Every time you see one of my videos, for the most part, you can see chapters where it breaks down the subjects of segments of things that we talk about. You want that on each one of your videos, right? So therefore, a person knows how to search through your video to go directly for the reference of what you was talking about. So if I put a clip on something that's from this episode and you got to go through the whole 1 hour to figure out where that clip is, or you can go through the chapters and be like, all right, when were they talking about that subject? And then you can go directly to it and watch it. So sometimes you'll see, and back in your analytics, you'll see an increased watch hours for certain segments inside the episode. So you go to Taja.ai, you take the link of the YouTube video, it will go in there, it will read the video, and it will tell you great thumbnails that you can put out, right? Where it can automatically generate a thumbnail for you, meaning create a picture based on the subjects. It can create captions, titles for you, right? It can break everything down in a chapter, and all you got to do is put it inside your bio, right? I'm going to drop the link to Taja.ai right? And make sure that you all click the link to my subscriber channel on Instagram, and you'll be able to get the link right afterwards from there, right? And you'll be able to get a discount as well. I believe everybody should utilize this to cut down your team, your time. In 2024, there's a lot of ways to make money, and you all have to pay attention. Everybody should be getting into investing. If you ain't make no money in investing this year, it's because you didn't want to. It's not that the opportunity wasn't there. S&P 500 performed, gold performed, Bitcoin performed, Ethereum performed. All of these different assets performed and outperformed and went crazy this year. You can't talk about, I don't know what next year will be, but I do know what happened this year. And this is why a lot of people who were talking trash about things last year ain't saying nothing. They wait for everything to be in the dumps and slumps and talk about it. And then they make you afraid of the opportunities so you don't jump into them. Content. If you're not making 3 to 5 pieces of content per day, putting them out there, 3 pieces of content per day, and if you're not spending at least 30 minutes to an hour learning how to update your skills, then you're going to get left behind like the kids that was on the yellow bus with the helmets.
Yeah, because I remember it was a time where I used to just screen record YouTube, chop my own videos up. Now I got Opus Pro. Now I can just click the link, drop it, chop it, and drop it again.
In YouTube, you can automatically, there's a button on the edit side of it. You can press clip, and whatever you're watching, it'll clip that out for you, and you can send it to other social medias. So it'll directly connect to Twitter or whatever. It'll be like 1 minute. So if a person see a preview of something that they like, then it will generate more traffic. The only problem is that when you drop it on somebody like X, which is formerly known as Twitter, allows you to monetize. Right, so you can take your same content that you drop on YouTube, drop it on X, and monetize. I will be teaching this in my mentorship as well for those who want to know my content secrets. Right, Twitter allows you to monetize. So while most people drop stuff on Instagram for clout, it's not for money. Right, Instagram, you can create channels, you can create all these things to create funnels that can lead you to making money. But if you want to get paid directly from your content, you got to drop it on Red Circle. Right, which is the audio that allow you to put ads that can perform or you can get paid based on your CPM, right, which we're going to discuss a little later. I'm going to have Metchy in here one of these days. And then you can put it on X where you can get paid directly, and you can put it on Fanbase. You can put it on YouTube, and these are all getting paid directly from your content. Right, and there's so many different ways to where you can create without having to be in front of the camera, and you can make money. I got so many strategies that we're going to apply with the team, and we're going to go crazy. Right, I don't want nobody missing out because you lazy. Right, you should be able to. The goal is create you an ebook. Right, it's free to create ebooks. I got strategies for that I will teach as well. Why? Because you should be able to take your rent. Right, let's say your rent is $1,000 a month. I'm only saying that to create a base layer of, something that I can break down real simple. So it's 30 days in a month. How many days it requires you every single day? If you broke it up, how much money would you need to make every single day to make your rent? So you take your rent, then you take the months, and I don't care if you have a job or not a job. You're talking about creating something to where you got some passive income. You got a job. You don't want your job paying for your rent. You want your side hobby and hustle paying for your rent. Right? So if your rent is $2,000, let's use a better example. Right? How much money do you have to make in 30 days to make $2,000? And I'm talking about per day. Right? What's the answer?
What was the question?
You got 30 days to make $2,000. How much money you have to make every single day? If you broke that up every single day, what's the minimum you got to make a day?
$80.
So let's say you got to make $80 per day. Let's say you got, I wouldn't create a t-shirt business because there's better ways to make clothing companies now today. I'll tell you all about that later as we go into our journey of man.
That's what I would do. I ain't even need the 30 days. You know what I do?
Hold on, let me give him the break. You say 67. Thank you. Real math. $67. So let's say you got an ebook, right? You got an ebook, and you don't have to have a large fan base to sell ebooks. And that's a whole nother strategy to where you can create content and connect it to your ebook and create a funnel out of that, right? But how many ebooks you got to sell really depends on the price of your ebook. It could be a $10 ebook, right? $10 ebook. That means that you have to sell, 6 or 7 of them every single day. So your goal is to at $10. Now, the more you price it up, the less you have to sell. If it's $20, right, then you only got to sell 3 of them. right? Just about. Of course, you got to sell really 4. So that'd be 4 books. So you get your $80. That'd be more than what you need. So the goal then will be setting up a system where you can create you a funnel. A funnel is just, let's say I get you to sign up for something. I say, listen, you want my, here's this free video about how to change your mind. And a person be like, yo, I want to watch that video.
Learn more.
So they click on it, and then it makes you sign up to get access to the video. What you just do is you got their information, step 1. So now you can retarget them. They get access to the video for free. They're happy. Now what you do is you build up your email list, right? Yep. So when you get you 10,000 people on that list, so that means you can create 2 ebooks. One is just for the funnel, one is for sale. If they like the first one, they most likely will buy the second one, right? So you be like, look, you want access to my free ebook? Sign up here. You get 10,000 people on it, 1,000 people. The goal is, can you give away 10,000? Now you're ready to launch. So you spend, the first month giving away for free, second month following up, giving them more value. Third month, you say, I got a book that you got to pay for now. But you're giving them so much value, now they ready to buy, right? So now if you do this consistently over the course of, 60 days, and you using this as a rollout plan, by the 60th day, you should have an email list that you're ready to launch, and you're going to get a percentage of sales.
And shit, every time you come out with a product after that, drop it in the email list.
And I can go deeper on this. I just wanted to spit some game, right? 2024, they have y'all thinking, I see too many people that can't pay their rent, and I'm tired of seeing it, right? Because there's way too many hustles. I can spitball so many ideas off the top of my mind on ways that you can make money.
Shit,
you should too.
You can create a product. You can create the mock-up, put it on the website, and put up the pre-order. You got 48 hours to buy this new shirt. People gonna flood in. That's if you got a following right now. But if it's a dope design, people gonna flood
Bro,
in.
you can create thumbnails for people. Go to somebody's YouTube page and go create 5 thumbnails for something and ask them, be like, listen, I want to work for you. I singularly just want to create thumbnails for your page. And you give them a mock-up of how you can make their page look better and how you believe that this can help them perform better. You probably using ChatGPT or Midjourney to create them. Doesn't matter. That's a role that they probably don't want to do. And you say, listen, you can try me out free the first 30 days. If you like the performance of them, then start paying me after the 30th day trial. Now you get you a new client, right? You know how many people have YouTube channels? Think about that. How many people have YouTube channels? And if you do this free for somebody that has a big channel, let's say they got 1 million views, 100,000 views, you building up a portfolio. So now you can use this client that you got for free, and then you can reference them to be like, yo, I did 19 keys thumbnail. They like, oh, for real? Right? So now they gonna want you to do theirs.
Cause I do 19 keys thumbnails. Just tap in.
You feel me?
Tap in. You did. But anyway, on another note, man,
So that was just some game for y'all.
That was some free game, man.
Free game.
The rest, we can't go give them all the free game like that. You might have to get the course, because you ain't the source if you ain't got a course.
Yeah.
You did.
Man, just hit us with a super thanks.
I appreciate y'all for tuning in for sure. Oh, yeah, I got to take this time out to thank all y'all for tapping into these live streams for the past couple weeks. Y'all have been the biggest part of all of this. I've been seeing a lot of the posts go viral. A lot of the commentary and engagement in the comment section. I appreciate y'all, because without y'all, it ain't no such thing as the Man to Man podcast, And what's up? You got something you want to dive into, man?
Let me make sure. Did I cover all the ones? This was interesting. All right, so it was about gold.
Oh yeah.
So it was an article that I seen on oilprice.com and a few other ones that was being shared. And it was talking about the legislative efforts in Oklahoma and Missouri to eliminate state capital gains taxes on the sale of gold and silver, treating them as money rather than commodities. Right? This aims to reduce investment costs in precious metal, as it is a step forward reestablishing them as legal tender, challenging the Federal Reserve monopoly on money. The legislation also includes provisions for the state to invest in gold or silver and to accept them of payment of public debts. These steps are part of a broader move at the state level to support sound money. So I believe that it's a very interesting move that's going on. Right? Number one, you got to think. Gold, if gold is not accepted as a legal tender as it is today, right? So that means that, and I believe that this could mean this, right? You buying gold and it can be taxed, right? Capital gains tax if it goes up. But if it's money, right? And capital gains tax is basically, let's say you buy some gold, a gram of gold at, $100. And now that gold it went up 50%, right? Or 100%, is worth $200. You're going to get taxed on that $100, the gains that you made on it, right? Because you made $100. So the profit you're going to get taxed on, whatever that profit margin is. But if it's considered money, that's like if your dollar goes up in value, you don't get taxed on that, right? So if it's considered money, sound money, then now if you go buy gold, right, and it goes up in value, you won't get taxed on it, right? So that's kind of the idea. So now you can go trade in the stock market. Now you can't, but I'm saying the idea would be if you was to buy gold in the market, I imagine that you wouldn't be taxed on it. You know what I mean? Because it'd be considered money. So, and I had to get a little more information on that. But when we seen Costco had a bunch of people buying gold, it was important. You can buy gold at bullions today. Yeah. And I believe everybody should buy gold and silver. Because anytime gold goes up, silver goes up. It is always to follow. So anytime you're seeing gold making a move and gold is moving towards 2100, it's important to watch that, right? Gold has been controlled for a very long time. So they control the supply of gold. They control and make sure that gold doesn't go up too much, right? Because then they won't have the power. They probably most likely going to want to collect more of it, right, before they do anything when it comes to gold. And right now there's a secret gold war that's going on between BRICS, right, and America and the control of it and the future of money because gold ain't going nowhere. It continues to go up and it's been performing very well. Just like Bitcoin. Yeah. So everybody should have gold in their portfolio and they should have Bitcoin in their portfolio. And
that's
they should
what I
have
was just gonna ask.
Gold water in their portfolio too. Yeah. Make sure you go get you some gold water at goldwater.com.
Yeah, that was actually my question. I was gonna say, is there room to have both gold and Bitcoin in a diversified portfolio? But yeah, you just answered it. Go get both of them.
Yeah, I think that the goal is to have a diversified portfolio. So every day what you want to do is you want to take a percentage amount of money, have it set automatically. You can buy gold physically, which I would suggest, or you can buy gold on the market. So you can invest into, gold mining on the market, right? There's a stock ticker called GLD. Or you can go buy into gold physically at a bullion. They sell it at Costco now, right? What this does is your family has assets. You have assets that can be leveraged against your net worth and borrowed against, right? Gold can be insured, right? Which means that, if you lose your gold, it can be insured and you can be paid out in legal tender, right? You can go get your gold evaluated for whatever the true value is of it. So if you go get your gold evaluated, and even if you bought it at $40,000 and they evaluate it to be worth $50,000, and you put insurance on it, that insurance covers the $50,000, not the $40,000, right? And that $50,000 will go towards your net worth of what you're actually worth when you're calculating what is the family's net worth. So if we look at you can buy a house, and that house can be worth $1 million. And so minus your debt, and your income, that's going to go towards your net worth based on those hard assets that you own. Same thing with gold, right? But also the same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at 43,000 right now, right? It was down, I think, around 18,000 at the beginning of the year, right? I don't know why everybody is not invested in it. Yeah. I don't know why, right? A lot of people have scared you all out the market. And all the distractions that's going on in the world should not take you away from the investment opportunities in your world, right? Because they constantly throw at us every single time on the news. You never see them with a solution every time they talk about black wealth. All these politicians start talking about income and equality. They can't fix that.
They try to make you feel like it's damn near impossible to ever reach it too.
And they can't tell you, because if they tell you out loud, then everybody does it, right? So there has to be these movements that people are just doing. Who are these people that's going to Costco buying this gold? Do you think that this is something that's happening as a cultural phenomenon in Black America? Absolutely not, right? Now, it can be, right? But I have a suspicion that that's not us in flock going to buy that, right? Yeah. We're not the ones saying, I got to go to Costco and go get me some gold. We should be, though.
Right. I know for sure, you ain't going to Costco and buy no gold. I keep finding bottles of gold spray paint around here. You spray painting your jewelry and shit.
I'm like, what is he getting at? Yeah, this all fake. It's all
Dude
fake.
got 6 bottles of gold spray paint. Just
it's
every
all-
day out here. Shh.
It's all fake, brother. It's all fake. It's all fake. You know what I'm saying? I keep the real stuff somewhere else. I'm like Ocho Cinco.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna wear the real stuff.
Ain't got no money, baby.
I'm bro, baby.
Yeah.
No, but real life though. So buy gold, buy silver, buy things with real assets, buy land. We're gonna be operating within land. Land. I seen Sherrod was on Angela Yee's show, and she was saying that she believed that farmland is going to be the big one. I think land is a huge one. We want to do something with high level land. That's going to be key. You know, even this is the whole thing. Even with I hate to dare to mention like the NFTs. I think Sotheby's sold like $32 million worth of NFTs, and there's still a large volume of sales that's going on. And so many people are making money. Just because you hop off something don't mean that the industry is not still moving, right? And here's the thing. The sentiment in America is not the global sentiment. The people that collect the NFTs the most has always been like in Indonesia and China and some of these Asian countries, right? And as they implement them into games and different things, I'm not saying you go buy them, but why not be a seller? Why not be a creator? Why not make money off a digital fad or a digital infrastructure that other people are excited about, right? It's
And
money.
it
It's
don't
income.
have to be called an NFT.
Yeah.
You just change the word around it. It still have the same function.
The opportunity's still there, still exists. It's still a $1 billion market. $1 billion markets don't often pop up and sustain themselves. So I would just pay attention to these things and always think about taking an hour out your day and doing some homework on opportunities that can make you money. But money is a mindset, right? Money, I heard Byron, what was the brother name? Byron something, and he was explaining, he said money is such a spiritual thing because money can exist in multiple dimensions and forms all at once. He said money can be physical in your hand, or money can be digital in your phone. You know what I'm saying? Money can be gold. You know what I'm saying? Money can be intellectual property. Money takes on all of these different forms. So to even have any hate towards money, right? Money is a currency that you can use to trade for things of value.
It's energy.
Right. So the idea that we have this, anybody can look at money as a root of evil is crazy. It's the love of money, right? Which was stated. But money itself is not the root of evil. No, it's allowing you to gain riches and wealth. You know what I mean? And so if you have a negative disdain thought process ideology towards it, then you don't have any ability to attract it, right? And so there's only like I think like $13.7 trillion of the world wealth is ran by like 700 something billionaires worldwide. I think Russia and Germany has the most billionaires. You know what I'm saying? There's not that many people at the top. Wealth is concentrated, and the mindset of that concentration doesn't look like the mindset of the people at the bottom concentrated with poverty. So how many millionaires in the world? I don't know. What class do you want to be in for the rest of your life? Right? Do you want to be treated based on, your race? You want to be treated based on your class? You know what I mean? It's up to you. Poor people think about wealth. Poor people think about their race. Wealthy people think about their class. That's different, right? Poor people think that I'm treated badly because of my race. You go to somewhere and they be like, listen, this person treated me wrong because I'm black, right? Or this person looking at me because I'm white. Now white people are wanting to reverse racism.
I want to have this conversation. I want to ask my good brother Keaton Bees if he could come on an episode of the
For sure
podcast and like really get in depth with this conversation.
Let's see some of the comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keaton don't miss, man. I ain't gonna even lie.
Yeah, I just want to see. He say, how is Keys living well? He is talking about things we never were told in school or your so-called parents. You gotta learn. I learned.
Yeah.
I mean, what you want me to do?
I mean, like,
you gotta learn.
Like you said, if you got a vision of yourself and what you want to become, you meditate on all the ways to become that.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I remember.
Then you go do it. That's it. It's that simple.
I remember sleeping on the floor, a goddamn air mattress. You know what I'm saying? Having the mindset, and I'm still far from where I want to be. Light years away, galaxies away, dimensions, universes. You know what I'm saying? Away from where I want to be. Even in my mindset, the education that I know, because it's also about implementation. There's things that I know that I haven't implemented yet. So I want to put those things together. Yeah. And this is why I don't often talk too much about like money from that. I talk from experience and things that I know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But some subjects I don't touch just simply because I feel like I haven't elevated at that level, you know, financially to touch on those subjects. And I only want to teach from experience. But you learn, then you do, and that becomes experience. It's simple. If I tell you about gold, you say, okay, well now I'm about to go buy gold. I'm about to go get it insured, right? And I'm about to go get it evaluated to see what the worth is, right? And all of a sudden now you have that experience to where you can go tell somebody else that same process. Yeah. You experience a year where gold goes up and you're like, oh snap, I bought this at this rate, and then percentage wise, because you want to think in percentages, it went up 20%. Now you can be like, all right, listen, I can teach y'all about assets. Now you can be truthful, I only got 1 year experience in this, but this is what I did, right? You got to think about money accumulates and adds up. The compound interest effect is very powerful. So the average person may be spending money on, you know, whether it's food's so expensive, you can fast and put that into something like
for real.
Like, seriously, like
I for real, like me personally,
I've been
cut down to 1 meal a day. I don't even care about you got to get your breakfast in. I'll give you
no,
that.
You don't.
You don't have to, but get your workout in first, and then go get you something to eat.
First of all,
but you got. I'm down to wearing there 1 meal a day.
You don't need no it's breakfast, especially if you're not working. If you don't work out, don't even think about eating in the morning. You know what I mean? You don't even think about it. You know what I mean?
Sit your
big old self down somewhere. Don't think about it. Put it down. Don't even think about it.
Do not break the fast, man. No. Continue to fast.
Go work out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to tell you, like, what you want to do, you know what I mean? Because I've been consistent on my workout. I've been getting the gains. You know what I mean? I've been making sure I stretch before I get in there, right? So I did a good workout today. And I gamified my workout today. It was fun, actually, because they had this machine where you do the little... Anyway. So I'm in there working out, and I was thinking about that because, like, once you do anything consistency, you're guaranteed a level of success to reach a certain peak in potential, right? And the goal is to look like, what is that potential going to be? 50%, over 50% of America is obese, right? Most people don't even know the energy levels that they could have if they worked out. And you can start small, because the more you do it, the better you feel. And the more you want to do it. You get a runner's high when you do certain things, right? So you may start off right now. I could start off doing planks. You start off right there in the morning, right after you brush your teeth, and you do some planks. And you say, oh, why? And I'm tying that to a habit, like Atomic Habits. Y'all can read that book. So, and then you start doing the planks. Then all of a sudden, the first time is hard. You may only hold for 30 seconds because your stomach ain't got nothing there. The second time, you building up that strength, right? So second time you come to it, it still may be a little hard. Third time, it gets a little easier. Now you can hold for a minute, right? Fourth time, so on and so forth. So by the time you're doing that for a month straight, right, you start to feel great. Not just about what it feels, but your accomplishment.
That's how I used to be when I first started working out with you and Mike Rashid. They trying to have me, and I couldn't even lift the damn, what you call it?
The weights?
Yeah, the weights. Now I can pick the gym up.
Yeah. Now you went too far, though, brother. No, but seriously though, like if you go in there and man, what was it? I just got this vision of like this little person doing pull-ups. It threw me off track. I could think of mini me up there just crazy with a step. It's because I be going hard now though. I do be going in. She had to hop on somebody's shoulders to get up to do the. So anyway, oh my God, that's funny. Yeah. You done threw me off my whole thing. What I was about to say about the workout. Oh, I'm about to drop a gym on the good folks over there. Yeah. No, but so anyway, on the obesity thing, I'm about to start doing these fast Wednesdays, right? If y'all want to do them with me, you fast every Wednesday. That means you don't eat while the sun is up. Now, luckily, daylight saving time or whatever it is with the time mechanisms to where it's going to get dark around 5 o'clock. That should be easy. When you fast, you build muscles. You allow your system and your body time to regenerate, right? You can drink nothing or just only drink on those days and just take fluids or juices. You want to do you a detox. If you're getting cravings, if you feel bloated where your stomach is out, right? You feel itchy, you may get acne and things of that nature. These can be signs that you need a detox in your life. Now at goldwater.com, we do have the detox packs that you can take, the CKLS, which is the colon, kidney, liver, spleen. So you can take that with food, and what it's going to do is it's going to start cleaning out your system, cleaning out a lot of that waste, right? That's in your body that clings to your intestines, right? That's very important that you do that. And then, you want to drink plenty of fluids to clean out that inside. Colon cancer is very high amongst men, especially black men these days, right? And it's not good at all, because once you get that, you're finito, you're done for. Not 100%, but I'm saying that that's a possibility, because we've seen a lot of black celebrities die from that. So you want to make sure that, during this season, especially during wintertime, you're going through that detox, man. And you're putting in that ascorbic acid, that vitamin D, that vitamin C, your elderberries, your black seed oils, right? You taking in all your mushrooms and things of that nature that are the functional mushrooms. You want to make sure that your body is fortified for this season so that you can go into it ready like Terminator, you feel me, to handle anything that comes your way. So make sure y'all go to goldwater.com ASAP. And go get your order and get an order for the family. Get your detox packs. Cleanse your body ASAP. It also comes with this olive oil. And that's the last thing I'm going to say. So you should try this, Steve. See if you can do it. We can film it. So the olive oil, you got to take the olive oil. And it's like this big, right? So you got to drink the whole olive oil on an empty stomach. So what you want to do is you want to take the CKLS for like a week before. So start cleaning it out. Gluten-free diet. You ain't taking in no dairies, no nothing, right? You just clean. So then you take the olive oil, and the olive oil is going to lubricate the insides of your intestines so that it starts to attach to the foods and it peels down the food that get heavy. Right. So you got to drink a bunch of it. So olive oil naturally is going to want to come up, so you don't have nothing to do that day. So you probably want to have some lime juice to keep the digestion down, because it's going to want to pop up. So I had to do it like that. I took the olive oil. It was tough. It required you to be a straight up gangster, a straight up soldier with it. You feel me? But, and whatever you got in your body, because it's going to sit heavy. And if it sits heavy, it's going to drop and release heavy. So it's going to take everything with it. You feel me? Yeah. It's like a you feel me, a little bomber. It's gonna go in there.
3-day process, right?
It's gonna say, no, it's a 1-day process. It's gonna be whoever in here, y'all coming with me. Yeah. So, and that means all of the old junk that you got in your intestines that's been sticking there. Some stuff been there for months, maybe even years, right? So it's gonna clean you out, and you gonna feel so light afterwards. Like you gonna feel like a baby. Like, I'm serious. I'm so serious.
No, some real shit.
You gonna feel like a baby. Get all those worms out your body.
Speaking of fasting, though, we always, traditionally it's always been about food intake or whatnot. But I want to add this to the list too on Wednesdays, right? We're going to fast from this digital screen time on these phones. Especially for y'all children, man. Take them tablets away. Get in tune with the kids, man. Have real conversations. Ask them how they week been. Ask them what's they, they thought process, and we're dealing with their friends at school. Get to know your children, man. Step away from the screen time, man. No more scrolling on Wednesdays, man. That's what I want to do. And y'all can do that with me. I have a community that can keep me going forward, and I got something I can relate to my daughter when we get off this live. So thank y'all. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget that Wednesday we fasting. And
you want to get you one of these. If somebody loud in your household, let's say a girl tripping, you just hit the to reset the energy. Works every time. Same thing with the children. If they hear the it karmatic clear whatever energy and whatever negativity going on. This is what the sound bowls is really for. Clear out the sound and reset the energy. No more bad vibes.
Oh yeah.
Man to Man Podcast. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and tap into the gods.
One last thing. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at Steve Jones, AFNF. If y'all don't know who I am, want to get to know me more, just get my ebook in my bio on Instagram.
I'm like giving out
Tap
a Tinder
in.
profile.
You did. Tinder. I'm from outer space anyway. You can say